Yo, what's going on, guys? Ron here, aka Neos, and welcome to my new favorite deck that I'm gonna play this next coming up format. So it's a little bit of a mystery. I know you maybe y'all might be thinking like, oh, maybe it's like Charmers or something like that, but it's not, guys. It's not. I love Fiendsmith too much, and y'all should know that. I love playing the Fiendsmith engine. I love stuff that plays with the Fiendsmith engine well. So I want to introduce y'all to my new favorite deck and the maidens that are in it. I want to introduce y'all to Elvenote Fiendsmith. I think, guys, that this deck is posed to be one of the best decks in this next coming up format because, one, it's basically out of the box, fully playable. Two, it's very strong, both going first and going second. Three, it plays the Fiendsmith engine very, very well. And four, it's fun to play, guys. It's just fun to play. So, anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and go through the card by card, and we're gonna talk about this. So, anyways, these are all spellcaster monsters, except for our Elf Note Power Patron, which is a fiend monster, which we'll get to here in a second. So I want to start off with Lucina here. Lucina, all the Elf Note like main deck monsters have the effect that they can special themselves to the center main monster zone, and then they all have ignition effects attached to them. You can only special summon Elf Note once per turn, this way, specialing into the center main monster zone, and then you can only use this effect once per turn. During the main phase, add an Elf Note monster from your deck to hand except for herself. And then they also all have quick effects attached to them for your opponent's turn. Lucina has a quick effect to switch the locations of herself in whatever main monster zone she's in, and then she puts herself in the center main monster zone, swapping her positions with that other monster. And then you can return a level 6 or lower monster from your opponent controls to the hand. So anything that is a extra deck monster that has a level, a main deck monster that has a level, she can bounce it. Very, very powerful. Quick effect at any point of the turn. Start of draw phase, end of end phase, does not matter. Her sister, Tanaya, I'm going to call her Tina. Tina here, she has the same effect, special herself to the center main monster zone. And then she has an ignition effect that you can set, or actually place an Elf Note continuous spell from your deck face up onto the field, which is going to be your welcome home, which I will explain also here in a moment. The third sister is Fortuna. She has the ability that whenever after she's summoned, she has an ignition effect to place a continuous trap from either the hand or deck face up onto the field. This is a very important one. Obviously, if you draw it, you're not like out of luck. And two, this is a negate as long as you have an Elvenotes monster in the graveyard. The card does have to be on the field, but it is a negate. We'll get to that again here in a second. And then the last Elf Note monster that we technically have is the Power Patron one. While this card is on the field, basically, you cannot special summon from the extra deck. Except Synchro monsters, you can only use each of the following effects of this card's name once per turn. During the main phase, quick effect, target a monster in the center main monster zone, increase its level by 3, and then after this effect resolves, you can Synchro summon an Elf Note, or Junaro, whatever this guy's name is. The Power Patron of Tuning is what I'm going to call him. If this card is sent to the graveyard as Synchro material, add an Elf Note card from your deck to your hand. Very important here, just being able to use the Synchro material. If you're familiar with LZ Azamina, when she gets used as Synchro material, she can search a Azamina card from deck to hand. This is basically the same thing, but he is a level 1. So, again, with the Elf Note stuff, we have the Madness here. While you control a monster in your center main monster zone, your opponent cannot attack except that monster in that center main monster zone. So very powerful, like floodgatey type effect, especially if you make this guy, because then your opponent cannot threaten you with battle. You can send a monster from your hand or field to the graveyard, not as cost, but as effect. Target an Elf Note monster in your graveyard with a different original attribute. Special summon it. Then, if you control a Synchro monster of any kind, does not need to be an Elf Note, you can negate the effects of one face-up card your opponent controls until the end of this turn. You can only use this effect once per turn. So it's basically like a Desiree, like a mini Desiree. It's like a one non-targeted negate. Hit that whatever it is. So very, very powerful. It's obviously attached to like a quick effect type effect because of this. And yeah, so that's it for the. Oh, I'm sorry, one more card. Elf Notes Welcome Home. The monster in your Cinerary Monster Room cannot be destroyed by card effects. Again, another like floodgate type-esque effect, but this is protection for you. You can send a monster from your hand or field to the graveyard as cost, but summon an Elf Note with a different original attribute from your deck in defense position. You can also cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Synchros. You can only use this effect once per turn. So this is basically a full combo starter. This is a full combo starter. This is basically full combo starter. Preferably, you want to start with either this for the most part. And that's it, guys. So we have 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. We have 13 here cards total that you can play in the engine. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 13. I was making sure because I thought I was losing my mind. So yeah, 13 cards, very powerful. All of them basically like loop back into themselves. This is like a kind of a brick, but it's not that terrible. I play 2 of it just to like, I was just trying to push the deck to 40. You could play this at 1 definitely, but having his access to quick synchroing is very, very powerful. So on to this, our first sub-engine that we're playing is actually Medius the Pure. Medius has an effect that when he's normal or special, you can add to hand or special summon a power patron monster from your deck. That's this guy. You can, if this card is in your graveyard, shuffle one monster from your hand or face-up field on the deck, and if you do, special this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect once per turn. Very powerful card. He works a normal summon, special summon, and he's actually going to lead us into the most broke-ass card I have ever read in my entire life. I want to, if you all guys are unfamiliar with, I would hope not, but if you are, I'm going to introduce y'all to Theo Realize. This is the most broken fucking card I've ever read in my entire life. I'm going to be quite frank. Broke as shit. Send 1 Medius the Pure from your deck to the graveyard as cost. Cannot be ashed. Sends it for cost. Look at the top card of your opponent's deck and place it on the top or bottom of the deck. So it sends for cost your starter, which is going to try to summon himself, by the way. It is a deck stacker, so you can stack your opponent's deck for free. Crazy. In addition to that, it has another effect. You can banish this card from the graveyard, target 1 face-up card you control, and declare a monster type and attribute for cost. All of that was for cost. You cannot bell this card because it banishes itself for cost. And if you notice, it says declare a monster type and attribute. Guess what the effect is? That monster becomes that type and attribute until the end of your opponent's turn. You can turn any one of your normal summoned hand traps, or if Medius gets summoned and he gets fucking impermed and decimated, and he's just sitting there like an idiot on your field, you can link him off for Requiem, because you can make him a Light Fiend monster. That goes for any of these monsters. You can make them Light Fiends with Theo Realize. Does not matter. And guess what? This card does not have a lock, and you can use each effect once per turn. So after you try to start your combo, and if your opponent dares to interrupt you and interact with you in any meaningful way, you can extend anyways and play the game, because it's time to play the game. This is the most broken card I have ever read. I want to be clear. I've already said that, I know, but Jesus freaking Christ, guys. This card is insane. Moving on. Speaking of Light Fiends, we have our tertiary engine, which is the Fiendsmith engine. And you're probably like, well, Neos, wrong. You've already got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You have 15 one-card starters, and none of those are a normal summon besides Medius. So you have 15, 3 of them are normal summons. Why are you playing Fiendsmith? 1, Fiendsmith is obviously a great addition to the end board. 2, Fiendsmith Engraver by himself is full combo for Elven Nodes, and is a better starter than Lucina is. Also, it doesn't require a normal summon either. That is correct. I want to be clear, it has to be specifically Engraver. I will showcase that combo and 2 others for a total of 3 combos in this video. That way y'all know how to play this deck and what it's supposed to do. So, anyways, for the Fiendsmith engine, 1 Tract, 1 Lurie, 1 Lacrima, 3 Engraver, 1 Paradise. Paradise is part of your interruptions for your end board. You can actually play it in this deck because you play enough monsters for like stuff like Home and Medius that you can actually like play this, and it's not like a crazy brick. So it's actually good to have. You also, in addition to that, like I want to mention, the monsters as well. We have hand traps. We play 3 Ash, 3 Fua, 3 Bell, 3 Valor, 2 Droll. This is 3, 6, 9, 12, 14 hand traps. These are all the most powerful hand traps of the next coming up format. Targeted Negation, Stopping Fulos himself, Ghostbound Haunted Mansion. A lot of things are like trying to special from graveyard, add from graveyard, add back to hand. Droll is going to be very good, preventing your opponent from trying to overextend and FTK you with a huge board. And obviously these are all monsters that you can use off of Welcome Home to get access to basically whatever one of your Elfin notes that you need. Just keep in mind, it cannot be the same attribute, so obviously like Effect Veiler can't be used to get Fortuna, and Ash Blossom can't be used to get Lucina. However, everything else does not matter. This is a wind, this is an earth, and obviously this is also a wind. You can also use the Fiendsmith cards if you have to, so additional engravers in your hand can be used as extenders. So all in all, you're playing 14 hand traps, you're playing 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, 17. You're playing 18 one-card starters, and 3 of those are a normal summon. The deck is incredibly consistent. The deck has starters that are also extenders, extenders that are also starters, right? Vice versa. And it also sets up a very layered end board. So moving on to the extra deck, guys, I want to talk about it. 1 tuner, 2 non-tuners for the Power Patron of Tuning. This card is Synchro Summon. You can treat a monster in your center main monster zone as a tuner. That is very important. This card is a level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So basically what you're going to be doing is, I'll actually explain after I read the second card. If this card's attack becomes 3000 within the center main monster zone, during the main phase quick effect, you can special this 1 level 6 or lower elf note from your hand or graveyard, then then you can reduce the levels of all level 4 or higher monsters on the field by 3 until the end of this turn. You cannot special summon from the deck except Synchros. So the way this matters, right, is you're going to basically make this level 7 into a level 4, and then you're going to make your 2 level 6s into level 3s. So if you could do simple basic math, which your Yu-Gi-Oh players, you probably can't. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Obviously, it's just that you can't read. So these are going to be 3s. This is going to be a 4. That's 6. That's 10. Whichever one of these is in the freaking center main monster zone, you treat it as a tuner, and boom, you have the Power Patron of Tuning. So, like I said, this is the most broken card that I've ever read in the main deck, right? For main deck purposes and what, combos and extension and everything else. This card does everything that you could possibly need it to. I'm now going to read you the most broken fucking extra deck monster that I think I've ever read. If this card is Synchro Summon, you can negate the effects of all face-up cards your opponent currently controls. Permanently. Permanent negate. All face-up cards. So, when you summon this, right, you basically wipe your opponent's whole board of face-up stuff. In addition to that, not only it has a quick effect attached to it. You can activate this effect. Monsters your opponent controls in the same column as Elf Note monsters you control cannot be used as material for Fusion, XYZ, or Link. Any extra deck, basically, summon until the end of this turn. So it also has a quick effect Floodgate attached to it. So let's say your opponent goes activate Rahu, and you're like chain, and then you're like, I'm going to Synchro Summon. You Synchro Summon. You go ahead, you make the Power Patron. And then your opponent goes ahead and, for some reason, puts the Arthalion that he makes into one of the zones that the Elf Notes is in, which he should not do, but let's say they do. And they go, activate effect, you can go chain, right? They go chain link 1, you go chain link 2, negate everything that's on their field, right? So you're going to try to negate their Arthalion. Let's say they go chain 5 mana to fuse. If you chain, you can chain the Power Patron of tuning, and if since Arthaline's in that that column, right, you can prevent them from using it as synchro material or as fusion material, right? Whatever monster they bring out is going to get negated, and Arthaline is going to get negated because it's a blanket, because it hits everything that's face up on your opponent's field. So if they have a field spell, a continuous spell of any kind, a continuous trap of any kind, right? Let's say they have a floodgate for some reason, and you're able to play around it. Boom! You can just negate it and get rid of it. This monster is also 3100 attack, 3800 defense. It's incredibly large, which makes it a perfect boss monster for the deck. Moving on, where I want to talk about the Fiendsmith part of the engine. We have actually another Fabled card here. This has an effect attached to it that during the main phase quick effect, you contribute this any number of Fabled monsters you control. If you do take control of the mini face-up monsters your opponent controls, but their effects negated permanently. It's a non-targeting quick effect main phase Widow Anchor that doesn't target, basically. That's what this is. It's a quick effect non-target Widow Anchor. This card also has the effect that if this card is in your graveyard, you can target one other Fabled card in your graveyard. Another Fabled card. Put this card, return this card to the extra deck. If you do, add that target to your hand. So you can, put Lurie back in your hand if you want to normal summon it later. Very, very powerful. Moving on. Also, you can the Snatch Steal on this is not once per turn. You can loop it. It's also a Light Fiend monster, which means it can be not only brought off of Lacrima, it can also be back off of Ignamde. So theoretically, you could make this going second, make it, snatch opponent's monster, link it off, make or fuse, make the Lacrima effect, bring this back, hit your opponent with it again, use 2 other monsters, make the link 3, bring it back, and then steal another opponent. You could steal 3 monsters in one turn. And keep in mind, you already stole 2. So you could use them as link material to make the Ignamde, to steal the 3rd. Which is, broken. Sorry, to steal the 2nd. So you would steal the 2nd and then make the 3rd, obviously. Get to the 3rd. Obviously, this is all Fiendsmith stuff here. I do want to talk about Armades. It has a really cool effect attached to it. If this card attacks or is attacked, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects until the end of the damage step. So, if your opponent declares an attack with this monster, or you declare an attack with this monster, you can trigger quick effects during the attack deck, and your opponent can not interact with you. They cannot hand trap you. They cannot activate things on the field, in the graveyard. They can't, nothing. So it does have a really cool effect attached to it. So for example, during battle phase, you could go attack your opponent. You have Lacrima engraved. You can go Lacrima effect. Do this. Since the monsters on board change, right? They can't do anything about it. So you could choose to redeclare. You choose to redeclare. You could tribute again. Use it. Bring out the Lacrima, and then they can finally. Or I don't even think they can interact there because you're still an attack deck. Because you're choosing to redeclare. If you don't have other effects. But in that window, as long as it's open, you can continue doing your quick effects and your opponent can't interact with you. Right? So you could bring back Requiem. That way you have it for the next main phase or whatever. So keep that in mind. And then you can, like I said, choose to redeclare. So then you have Requiem. Requiem, obviously, everyone knows what this does. You trigger during the main phase, special Life Fiend monsters from hand or deck. So sequence, fusion summon, Ignamde, bring stuff back. Lacrima, loop your fiends, Light Fiends, Desiree, boss monster, and then Area Leader. So Area Leader is actually how you get to the combo using the Fiendsmith engine. I will showcase that combo here in a second. So not only will you have access to knowing how to bridge this engine, but actually the optimal board to end on as well. I'm going to be showing y'all 3 combos in this deck here. So stay tuned and let me know what you think. We have also DDT, Wave High King Caesar. We have Necroquip. I would highly recommend playing Necroquip. She's going to be very important this next coming up format. A lot of hand traps, stuff sending from hand for cost for monsters. and she's going to be able to give you a draw if your opponent decides to interrupt you before you can make DDD. Cross Sheep is also part of the combo, and then SP is your she's like your like extra tech card for like whatever you might need her for. She's just like a good multi-purpose card. Also honorable mentions, Link Spider. If you get nibbed and they put the token in the center main monster zone, it just screws up your whole thing, and then you have to have a way to get rid of that nib token to clear that center main monster zone, so you can obviously special all of your elf notes. Also, instead of playing Effect Veiler, you can also play Imperm if you don't want to do that. Obviously, like having the monsters is good, but I think Imperm is better. I would personally play Imperm. I just have them here because I think overall this might be better because of like having the extra monsters, but I'm not quite sure, to be honest. You can also play the Dominus Impulse package here if you choose not to play Fiendsmith. I would not recommend it personally. I think playing the Fiendsmith engine just offers too much, but that's my own personal opinion. So, anyways, guys, that's it for the deck list and the card by card. Let's go ahead and move into those combos that I know you've all been waiting for and show y'all how broken this deck actually is. Alright, guys, so this is going to be your one card combo, and we're going to be using Lucina here. So, Lucina, she's going to special herself to the center main monster zone, giving us access to the Elf Note Power Patron. We're going to normal summon, synchro off, use the effect of this because it was used as synchro material. We're going to get us access to Tina. I don't know if it's Tina or Tania. I just call her Tina. So, anyways, just so you know, Tina's going to get us access to the spell. And we're actually going to dump from hand here a monster. If you want to, you can sack one of the monsters off of the field instead. That is definitely an option here. And then we're going to go ahead and get to Fortuna. Fortuna is going to get us access to the trap. And here you could actually end your turn. If you would like to instead, you actually have two ways to reborn here. You have the Elf Note Seraphim to be able to reborn your Lucina, which I would recommend. You should actually do that. That way you have all three on the field. And then you can actually use the Madness to reborn the Power Patron. And then with the Power Patron here, since you're locked into tuners, you can target a monster in your center main monster zone, increase its level by 3, and then after this effect resolve, Synchro Summon. So I did not do this in this combo. I wanted to show y'all like a low to the ground ceiling combo that just kind of gets you like basically everything that's the deck is supposed to get to. But you can, right, bring this back so you'll have her on the field. And then what you do is you can bring back the Power Patron, use the Power Patron, make the Tina a level 9, and that gives you access to a level 10. Then you, when you special back the level 10 here, you can actually get access to the Lev here. Because all this is a tuner and a non-tuner, and that gives you access to the Snatch Steal. And then if you would like to, from there, you can full Fiendsmith combo. That is your option right there. If you choose not to do that, you can go ahead and, like I said, just do this. But just keep in mind that is also, like I said, an available to you because, like I said, synchro and cool. I'm sorry, you cannot do full Fiendsmith combo because you're synchro locked. But you can make the Fabled. My apologies. But I wanted to be clear about that. So, because you're locked under the Welcome Home. But you can still end on the Synchro, which gives you an extra, like, Snatch Steal and Negate. And you should, I believe, still be able to make the Power Patron of Tuning, because you'll be able to reborn not only off of this, but you'll actually be able to reborn, and, like I said, Synchro, because you'll have the 2 6s. So, anyways, guys, that's it for that. And we're going to go ahead and move on to combo number 2. Alright guys, so this is probably going to be the most broken combo out of the entire deck. This is actually going to be starting with normal summoning Medius. Obviously, if you have Theorealize, like I explained before in the deck profile, you would use that, send the Medius, and then you have all of your extensions and whatnot from there, and also being able to stack your opponent's deck. However, instead here, we're just going to start with normal summon Medius. Medius is going to get us access to especially the Power Patron. So we synchro here, and this is going to give us access to Armades. Since we have access to, since we synchro summoned using the Elf Note Power Patron, we actually get to access to Tina. Since we have Tina now, we actually have full Elf Note combo. But we're gonna Fiendsmith combo. So this is like my standard Fiendsmith combo that I showed y'all before, except now we're gonna make the Necro Quip, because now if they bell you here, you're gonna be able to draw a card, right? So you're gonna already have combo. You already have 5 cards in hand. Now you're gonna be able to also draw an additional card to have 6 cards in hand. So here, you're going to go ahead and just make DDD. Now, if you notice here, if you just stopped here, right, for whatever reason, you have 3 interruptions. You have double DDD, and you have Lacrima being able to give you access to using the Paradise. So, anyways here, go ahead, special summon, use the effect, and you need to remove Tina from the field because you're going to need the main monster zone in the center open after you resolve Lucina's effect. Lucina's going to give you access to your light Fortuna. Fortuna's going to give special ignition, get you access to the trap. And then here, I actually sack a monster from hand because I'm going to continue to extend. You re-special summon here, you bring out the Patron. And then, as I mentioned before, you make the center one, you can make the center one a level 9 and make the Fabled. Or instead, you actually make the Seraphim. You use the Seraphim, and then you can bring back the Fortuna. And you have to put them in the center main monster zone, by the way, because otherwise they won't be able to trade with each other in the center main monster zone. What you could do instead is put the Seraphim there. So you could Seraphim, put him in the center main monster zone, and then bring this back. But that's obviously an option. And I also want to say that you should probably bring back Tiana instead. That way you can go bring this back later, right? And if your opponent decides to interact with it, they basically just hand loop themselves because this doesn't really matter as much as the other two do. So you'll be able to bounce your opponent's monster, they'll play a little bit, you can rip a card out of their hand, and then eventually you'll be able to synchro as well, right? And keep in mind, Medius here in the graveyard is actually available to come back on your next turn, which is another reason that we play 2 of the Power Patrons. So during your opponent, like let's say they clear your whole board, they don't kill you, you not only do you have the stuff in your hand that will be like follow-up or hand traps to stop your opponent from playing, you have full combos sitting in the graveyard waiting to be used. So keep that in mind. So anyways, this is like the board that you're going to go ahead and end on here. The total interruptions, actually, you have 2 from your DDD Wave High King Caesar. You're going to have the 3 from your level 6 monsters. You're going to have the ability to synchro. That synchro is going to be able to nuke your opponent's whole board. That's 7. And then you're going to have the ability to turn off them being able to be used as extra deck material. That's 7. And then obviously you have Requiem Engraved with Lacrima. That's 8. So 8 total interruptions. And that's not even including the negate, which in the back row is 9. So you have 9 interruptions. 2 of those are a special summon negate. One of those is a regular negate for the field. You have a monster send, and then you have the ability to bounce, rip a card, negate. It's insane, guys, and it's incredibly layered, right? There's still stuff in your graveyard. There's stuff on your field. There's stuff in your back row, right? All of this stuff that your opponent has to deal with. So, anyways, guys, that's it for combo number 2. Let's go ahead and move on to the final combo, which is my personal favorite. Alright guys, so this is going to be the final combo of the video, and this is, like I said, my favorite combo. So it's just Engraver here. I'm going to go ahead and let this play out. Y'all know what the Fiendsmith does. You've been on my channel at least once or twice. So anyways, we're going to go ahead, do the natural Fiendsmith stuff here, get access to Lacrima, get access to Engraver, and here, like I said, we're doing the same thing. So if your opponent, right, if you do this line, your opponent has 0 idea if you're going to try to bridge or you're just making Caesar. So if your opponent chooses to nib you here, and like I said, you don't have a play, you have 4 hand traps in your hand, so be it, right? You're just going to have to basically pass. What you could do is, if you have double fool in your hand, you could normal summon, make SP, keep the other 3 hand traps, pass turn. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to mention that. Here, you're going to make sequence, and then you're going to fuse, specifically using the Lacrima and the Requiem here. You have to use those 2 cards because the Aerial Leader needs 2 Fiend monsters with the same attribute, and you have to have both Engravers engraved, otherwise the combo will not work. So you go ahead, send the Power Patron, you link these 2 off, you make Cross Sheep, you bring back the Aerial Leader using the 2 Engravers, and then this is where you're going to trigger Cross Sheep, you bring back the Patron, level 6, level 1, this is how you get access, right? This gives you access to Seraphim, and this is where everything goes absolutely crazy. So again, we're going to search Tiana here, and keep in mind we play Lacrima, the fusion, so we can actually get the Engravers back from banishment. So it's fine, nothing to worry about here. And then here we'll go ahead, we'll be able to special summon, go ahead, get access to the spell, use the spell, clear the center main monster zone, bring out Lucina, not in the main monster, center main monster zone because we need it open. Use her effect, be able to bring out the Fortuna to the hand, and then onto the field, which will give us access to the trap. I do want to say here that if you have the ability to put like a normal summon of a monster on the field, instead of using the sequence here for the Link summon, and you have an extra Light Fiend, since you have the Tract in the graveyard, you could actually normal summon another monster, use the Tract, fuse with the Light Fiend in your hand plus the sequence, make the Lacrima, bring back one of the engravers that was banished onto the field, and make make DDD. And then you can use the Aerial Leader plus that normal summon monster like your Foolos, whatever, make that into Cross Sheep, but you're going to lose that other that other Light Fiend monster that you fused from hand has to be Engraver, because you need that other Engraver in the grave. So I just wanted to point that out, keep that in mind. But because like I said, or I'm sorry, it won't matter at that point because you already have the fiends that you already use them for the to bring back Aerial Leader. So keep that in mind. Anyways, guys, continuing with the combo here, go ahead, use the trap. You sack the Cross Sheep here, right, which gives you access to this, and in here you can actually trigger its effect and make the center main monster a level 9, right? So this gives you access to a level 10, which you make the Fabled here. Now that you've made the Fable, this is basically like your end board here. You're going to go ahead, you get to bring back the one of the monsters, and then you want to put that in the center main monster zone because you want to be able to swap their positions. Now, I do want to say, again, in the combo, like I said before, you want to bring back the water, not the light, because you want to make sure that both of those more powerful interactions are alive first, and saving the light monster for either a defensive play, or if you're lucky enough that your opponent has a continuous spell or trap that you can stop it that way. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the combo video and the deck profile. I really do hope that y'all enjoyed. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, that way you know when I post more content. And be prepared, guys, because more content like this and new upcoming format is going to be coming your way.